Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is the Samsung Galaxy S5 and it was released in April 2014, 7 years back, and it was a device considered to be in the high-end flagship category of smartphones from Samsung, meaning it had top-notch specs, it was improved over its predecessor, and it almost did offer everything a flagship device should have, like a fairly good design, an excellent screen in the market, an improved camera, high-end processor, and a removable battery, etc. And no doubt it was a very popular phone back in that days, but it also had a few annoying things which in my opinion are the reason why it didn't hold up well against the iPhone 6 and the 6 Plus, like the plastic body and poor build quality, thick bezels on the screen with big Samsung logo or some carrier logo, frustrating, unreliable, unusual fingerprint sensor, bad placement of speaker with poor sound, and it had an annoying cover for the charging port for the sake of water resistance, which everyone had lost after some time, and also the whole software story, etc. So that all were back in 2014, and let's have a look how the Galaxy S5 has held up after 7 years. I mean, can you still keep it as your daily driver or maybe your second phone for calls or social media and whatever, or is it even still usable in 2021? So let's start off with the design. This is simply not my favorite design language, as I have said in my previous videos as well. I just don't like the removable back cover setup. I don't know why, or maybe it just feels like the phone is not a solid integrated piece, and it does feel hollow inside, and also it has some cracking sounds when using or whenever some pressure is applied, which I think all phones with removable back have, and it just makes the phone feel cheaper or low quality, which is not good for high-end expensive devices. So that's all I can explain in my own way, but it is much comfortable to hold because it is very lightweight, and also the back is slightly curved, which makes it super easy to hold, and the size of the phone is also an ideal size for a phone. The shiny band all around is also plastic. It looks good at first, but when it gets wear marks it looks very ugly, and it gets a lot because it is a plastic or some sort of polish which easily gets off with the passage of time. The back cover is removable, and it reveals the removable 2800 mAh battery and also the SIM and SD card slots. So overall the design is, I think, well shaped despite the low quality materials, and it also had the advantage of removable battery and SD card option. The screen is a 5.1-inch Super AMOLED panel with 1080p resolution and over 400 ppi, also protected with Gorilla Glass 3. The screen itself is very good. It is sharp and bright, and the colors are very saturated, and this screen makes the phone very appealing, especially if you look back to 2014. I mean, anyone would buy this phone just because of the screen quality. Everything looks so good, like content watching or scrolling through social media, and anything on this screen is just a pleasure. And I think it is still comparable to at least some phones from 2021, but what makes the screen boring are these bezels. They are pretty huge and make the phone very classic looking smartphone with this big carrier logo. So overall it is very 2014 in terms of the screen design. Speaking of the processor and performance, so it came with Snapdragon 801 quad-core processor with 2 gigs of RAM, and it was like normal or average in terms of overall speed and performance, but the software was very laggy, the TouchWiz UI, and it came with the Android 4 and was upgraded to Android 6, so no major software update I think, and the TouchWiz UI was very slow, and there is noticeable lag in opening the apps. Yeah, it is bold and colorful, also customizable, but it is far away from being snappy and speedy, which made this phone lag behind the iPhones in terms of the speed at that time. And as you can see guys, it is slow and laggy, but it is more colorful. The camera on the Galaxy S5 is a 16 megapixels f2.2 sensor which captures very sharp images, and it is an excellent camera for 2014. The pictures are clear, sharp and saturated with good dynamic range, and slightly over processed from Samsung side, which I think some people like it, and it is, I think, slightly slightly better than the iPhone 6 camera in terms of the overall image quality. The video is 4K and 1080 60 FPS on the S5, and video quality is also good for a 7 years old phone. I mean, it is sharp and there is no OIS, so it is a little bit shaky, but it shoots very nice video for sure. So it is an overall whole camera package from 2014. The battery life on the S5 was also decent, like average and not bad at all. I mean, it was a full day phone with more than 3 hours of screen on time, but it is not a champ in the battery department, and with the passage of time it should have less battery life now, which I think is not sufficient if you want to keep this phone for any purpose. So there is the Galaxy S5 from 2014, a very nice, practical and feature-packed phone with some downsides or maybe somehow failed experimental attempts from Samsung, but it is so nice that Samsung has been kind of redefining their every single smartphone with a ton of space for the consumers to leave their opinions or suggestions, and that are just seen in the next Samsung phone. So it has some nice extras like heart rate sensor for the first time, fast charging, headphone jack, infrared sensor, water resistance on an open smartphone. The speaker is very bad and the fingerprint sensor is just a mess, but overall a very great Android phone, and I think no one should use it now because there are a lot of options there, although it is very cheap now, like less than $50 or maybe more for a refurbished one. So that's all about the Galaxy S5, and let me know in the comments below if you have used a Galaxy S5. And thank you so much guys for watching. Please be sure to subscribe and like the video if you liked it. I will see you in the next one.